start off again, just like the last video, with apologizing for the amount of time between postings. Let some things get more important, looking for paying jobs, for example. But I'm back. We're going to be more regular with this, and I just want all of you, whoever you are, watching this to know that this is still #1 cause in my life, and I'm still here for the fight. I'm still willing to do whatever it takes. I just recorded a 10-minute video. It was great, had a lot of good stuff in it, and then I went to upload it, and for whatever reason it was empty, nothing there. So I'm starting from scratch. So the first one was probably perfect, and this one's gonna be pretty crappy, but you know, such are the times. All I want to do today is tell you a quick story, then relate it to why it scares the crap out of me. About 2 years before my mom passed away, my dad, who again was the primary caregiver for my mom, called and asked if Becky and I would spend 2 days with my mom so he could go up to a cabin and de-stress a little bit, kind of depressurize. He was kind of at his wit's end, seeing and doing things he never wanted to see and do, and just needed a little bit of time away. So of course we said yes. Make a really long story short, we went to my parents' house Friday afternoon around probably 4 or 5. By 8 o'clock we'd had dinner, we got my mom ready for bed, changed her, all that kind of stuff. At this point she was probably early stage 6, which if you're not aware of the seven stages of Alzheimer's, I'd Google it, look it up, it's worth it. Our communication was pretty much next to nothing, couldn't feed herself, clothe herself, change herself, go to the bathroom by herself. She was still mobile and could try to communicate, but that was about it. So about 8:30 that night, I'm in my dad's office by myself checking email, the lights are off. My mom and Becky are in the living room talking. My mom gets up, heads back to the office, looks in, expecting to see my dad, and sees me, and clearly had no idea who I was. Just kind of seemed disturbed, I guess, for lack of a better term. So she kind of paces around for a few minutes and keeps coming back in and looking, and every time you can hear her kind of sighing more and groaning a little bit. So then she starts mumbling a little bit about, you know, take me home, take me to my house, was what we could make out. And we're trying to explain, you know, this is your house, Dad's gone, he'll be back in a couple days. Nothing really seemed to get through. Probably about 15 minutes later, my mom comes into the office, and for the first time in probably 6 months, spoke absolutely, completely clear. She looked right at me, in my eyes, and she said, "Get out of my house, or I'm going to kill you." Yeah. Beck and I looked at each other, eyes wide, mouth hanging open, just didn't know what to do, didn't know what to say. My mom left, and maybe 10 seconds later we heard her in the kitchen fumbling around with a drawer. We peeked outside, looked down the hallway to see what she was doing, and she was trying to get open the knife drawer. Not the butter knife drawer, but like the steak knives and the large blade knives for them to cut the meat, things like that. She decided, after threatening my life, that she was going to go get a knife and I don't know what else. Now there was no time then to think to yourself, oh, it's just the disease and everything's fine. All I could register was my mom just threatened to kill me and went to get a knife. And it scared the hell out of me. Not because I was physically afraid. Even then she was, you know, maybe 5'9", 160 pounds, relatively frail, obviously, from the disease. It wasn't like I thought she was physically going to do harm, but just the overall experience was one of the scariest things I've ever had to deal with. What worries me today, and why that's still bothering me today, let's say that, you know, in 15 years, I'm 33 now, let's say in 15 years, God forbid, I've got young onset. And in 15 years, both of my kids would still be at home. I'd be upper 40s. My wife would be mid 40s. I would still be assumptively a pretty imposing, strong figure. Again, I'm 6'8", 280, something like that. I'm a large dude. What happens if I blank out from the disease and get into a fit of rage and I decide these 3 strange ladies in my house, if they don't get out, I'm going to kill them, and I go get a knife? Who's going to stop me? Is my wife going to stop me? She's strong, but I could overpower her. My kids might grow up to be strong young ladies, but I could overpower them. What would stop me from doing what my mom tried to do that night? This isn't a hypothetical what if. I wonder if someone could actually... I've read the stories. I've read the stories where female caregivers of men with young onset end up being victims of abuse because the male patient flips out, doesn't know where he is, doesn't know who this lady is who's trying to give him a bath, or whatever the case might be. They get punched, they get kicked, they get thrown around. Who's going to stop me if I decide that's what I want to do? If, again, God forbid, I ever get Alzheimer's disease. And me getting Alzheimer's disease isn't that unrealistic. It's in my family. I follow in my mom's footsteps as far as ailments and sicknesses. I'm getting everything she ever got. It's a real and frightening possibility that this disease could lead me to do something tragic. Now, I know I couldn't. Who I am right now, I could never do that. I know that. But that disease erases who you are. It completely... My mom never would have said anything like that. Even to jokingly say, I'm going to kill you, she never would have let herself say something like that. And I know now, and I knew then, but didn't have the time to think it through, I knew that wasn't her. I knew it was that damn disease. But that doesn't make it any easier now to think that I could do something like that to my wife and kids. Now, here's the thing. How do you help? Whoever you are, wherever you are watching this video, how can you help us? And you can help us. There's a donate thing on this page. I'm not going to ask you for money. That's not what this is about today. That's not what this video is for. My thought is that those who knew more about Alzheimer's would do more about Alzheimer's. These videos are to help people learn, to help them realize what it is. This is a real story. This happened. This could happen to any of 500,000 families out there right now. It could happen to my family. What I'm asking you to do is take this video, put it on your blog page, link to it, put it on your Facebook page. Do anything you can. If you work for a company that's looking for a charity to get involved in, call me, email me. If you know a sports star who wants to throw some money away to charity, call me. We need that help. We need a face. Nathan Marquardt from the UFC has been fantastic for us, but we're still struggling. We need more. So I'm asking you to take 30 seconds, shut everything else out, and think what you might be able to do to help us, because we're in desperate need. I don't want what happened with my mom and I 6 years ago to happen to your family or to someone else's family or to my family. And the only way we can prevent that is to fight it now. Thanks for your time. Again, we'll be back with more videos. You have my word. Until then, everybody have a fantastic, fantastic Thanksgiving. Thanks.